So what's the audio consumption habit when it comes to the villages and the interiors of the country? Have you done a study on that?
So in all fairness, even before the merger, so Saavn is part of Jio ecosystem, and Jio is a ecosystem which is actually exponentially growing across India, right? And especially we see a huge spike in tier three and tier four, right? So it's too early to do the analysis, but we see a huge spike, like even Vin mentioned in the presentation, that now more and more regional languages are showing up, right? So that's where we see the next generation, a next wave of people coming online. So I would say it's too early right now, but we definitely see huge spikes across India, not just tier one and tier two. Like unlike before, music streaming was considered only a tier one and tier two phenomena, but that's changing, especially the fact that more and more people have 4G connections in tier three and tier four. So that's definitely changing.
I'm going to talk about it a little bit from the brand's perspective. We do see a lot of interest from brands, wanting to reach out to tier 2, 3 markets. Like Gaurav mentioned, that there's definitely a spike in terms of how numbers are going up for us. But of course, we're waiting for our Q3, Q4 results in terms of how the consumption is happening in those markets. And I think it's definitely going to surpass, what we've seen before. So.
Like even the moderator actually mentioned the question about the Kanpur station, right? So that was such a huge case study which was done on an analog. Now imagine the same thing being replicated on a digital ecosystem. So you can see like where the ecosystem is going.
Very curious to know one thing. Saavn is still looked upon as a very urban brand. You have associated with Jio, which is a very vast mass brand. How do you come together and mix up the storytelling for Saavn? How do you use the Jio association for building a new narrative for Saavn?
I'll give you a very relevant example based on the conference itself. When Gunjan and Vishal were on the stage, right? If you see, like, no one actually expected that a music platform and a life insurance company would be on a stage together talking about the collaboration, right? It's actually a perception, right? So even though music is the biggest part of the consumption on Saavn today, however, there are podcast shows, there are so many other things apart from just music, right? So that's just the beginning, right? As a matter of fact, like someone just stood up in the audience and said like, hey, do you guys see expanding into education, right? So you can see like audio is something that is agnostic to just music or something, right? It spreads across every industry possible, right? You take up any industry, audio will be present there in some shape or form, right? He mentioned that in HDFC, they're using audio podcasts to actually train the workforce, right? So it's the same kind of an analogy with working with Jio. Even though Jio is vast, but they still work like a startup. So they do have focuses, and this is what we are looking into. We are going by focus areas rather than that, hey, Jio is an ecosystem, let's go by that thing, right? A lot of things comes to us, like I mentioned, tier 3, tier 4. So it opens up a lot of doors for us. And India is one country where you have to tweak everything that you're doing, right? No matter which part of the country, which part of the world the company is born, you have to tweak it for this particular geo. And it keeps going more and more customization as and when you go deeper. So I definitely see a lot of synergies between every industry, especially with audio.
Again, when it comes from the brand's perspective, every brand is looking for reach right now, right? And with Jio, that has really helped us. Fortunately, on our platform, which is again an audio platform, we have everything and anything for any brand that they're looking for, and you can integrate like an audio story into it. Like Gaurav mentioned, of course, there's a plethora of podcasts which are available on our platform, and interestingly, that every genre is covered. Right, it's such a powerful medium. It's so personal. So there's a huge connect when it comes to the masses, like you mentioned, and also again from the brand's perspective in terms of the scale and the reach that they're looking for. So it's it's helped us in both ways, I would say. Again, with a premium brand, again, the services that we have in store and that we can offer, it resonates at both ends, I would say.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you
was
very
pleasure
much.
talking to you.
Pleasure talking
Thank
to
you.
you.